Hey everybody, my name is Carlo Libertini and thanks for joining me here today. We are going to have a lot of fun with what I feel may be just one of the best pieces of technology I've come across all year. I'm talking about Baby Audio's tape plugin here. And now most people consider this type of plugin the search for the holy grail, if you will, that analog glue, that analog warmth. And I got to tell you, Baby Audio did it. Let's find out. Now, what we're looking at here is the interface. Now, when I say Baby Audio did it, I have to tell you that, I wanted to take some time to really work with the plugin before I made this video, to learn its characteristic behavior and how to really use it, how to benefit from it. And I think the results are just simply great. Now, the interface obviously is really cool. It looks like a cassette tape and it's resizable, which I always love. Here's a default size. You can make it quite large if you want. And I actually love that. It just looks really beautiful. Not to mention you've got a couple of different color modes. Here's black, gray, and then more of a white cassette tape one. Now this is actually a great idea. Why would you want different colors? Simple. If I'm putting it on let's say a master bus, maybe I could keep them all one specific color. So when that's open, and rather than having it on an insert, let's say on my bass guitar, I could have that a different color. So I can identify it right away. So that visual coloring of the plugin can be very useful in that manner. In fact, let's keep it, let's see, where am I listening to this on? Here it is on my master bus. Let's make it white. And you'll see if I open it up on my vocals, here it is in the default gray color. All right, so that's also another advantage. Let's start listening to some of these tracks. Now, I want to give you some information. The tracks we're listening to are from my friend Warren Hewitt. Please visit producelikeapro.com to get access not only to tracks like this for you to help work on and become better mixers, but to become part of a very special community of like-minded people who just love audio and want a really great place to call home, like producelikeapro.com. Definitely check them out. Now let's get started. I've got tape here inserted on my drums. Now we're working with stereo stems here. So in essence, this is like putting the tape plugin on my drum bus, if you will. I mixed down drums, bass, guitars, and vocals, so we can have 4 stereo stems to work with. And let's get started. Now, what I'll do is I'm gonna deactivate the plugin on all the other tracks. And let's go to maybe our pre-chorus 2, and let's take a listen to just the drums. And I'm gonna bypass the plugin. Great. Now what we're looking at here is really cool interface. You have auto gain automation right here. You can activate and deactivate it there. I'm going to keep it on I like the continuity of the gain. What makes this plugin special with the AI here is the fact that Baby Audio has looked longer, deeper, and further into analog circuits. Not only modeling the circuits of analog gear, but how do they interact together? And I don't think any other company has come this close with modeling analog like Baby Audio did with tape, hence the AI moniker that you get in the name here. Now, to increase the drive of your tape, you can literally just select this reel and drive it up or down. And this is going to literally change almost the distortion characteristic of the audio. Let's drive it actually right now, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to set my mix to 100%. So we're listening to the complete, it's going to give us not a balance between the two, but all of it's going to be processed with AI here, tape plugin. Okay, let's increase our drive. Here's bypassed. Here it is in. Now, do you have to go that far? No, of course not. A little goes a long way. Just holding Option or Alt on your keyboard will reset that down to 0. Let's increase the drive a little bit. Okay, I like that. And as I mentioned before, here's our mix slider knob, where we can create a balance between the original signal and fully processed. I often find that since mixing is cumulative, all of my drums, my bass guitars, the vocals, all the instrumentation is going to be funneled into my master bus. A lot of this is going to be cumulative in regards to your gain staging and the characteristics, quality of the sound that we're going to be adding. So I'm going to go a little bit on this, and we'll see what it sounds like, and then we'll tweak some of the parameters when we're listening to the audio as a whole. But right now, I wanted to solo things just so you could specifically hear the effect on these different instruments. Next, we've got the output level, which works the same way. If you wanted to increase the output level here, you can raise and lower it that way. My output is pretty good, so I'm going to leave it there. Noise is going to introduce characteristic noise that you might get from tape machine, that analog hiss, if you will. And the wear can introduce what's called wow and flutter. So if your mix is all the way up and you introduce some wear, it'll give it a little bit of that, like that anomaly that we once used to get with tape machines that weren't calibrated, a little bit of a wow and flutter, make it sound a little bit old and unreliable. But it's an effect that I would consider an effect. So I'm going to bring that down. Glue is going to be kind of the natural compression that tape introduces. Let's take a listen to this. So by default, glue is going to start at about 40% here. Let's bring it down to 0, and I'll slowly bring it up so you can feel the effect. You can really hear what it's doing to that kick drum. Yeah, I just love this plugin. Here's before, and here's after. Okay, again, I have to remind myself that a little goes a long way. I'm exaggerating some of these parameters just for effect. I want to bring that back down just a hair. Right when I suddenly start to feel that extra little bit of love. Now the input, I'm going to keep it on normal, but you can make it hot, which is going to drive it a little bit more automatically for you. But here's a really cool feature. It's called the model. Now single will emulate one tape machine, but dual will emulate two tape machines in series. And it'll cut the drive, I believe, in half, so you don't have any clipping, can maintain your gain staging, if you will. This is great for adding a little bit more oomph to your low end. Let's see if we can make that happen. Here's single mode. Here's dual. Yeah, I can definitely feel it. Here's single again. And here's dual. There's definitely a more oomph in that kick drum. So moving all the way to the right side now, we have presence, high shape and low shape. If I wanted to increase the presence, the brightness a little bit, if you will, we have a slider for that. But here's what's really an interesting parameters, is if I just wanted to attenuate the high tonality shape, we could do that here. Or subtractive, we could take away from some of the high tonality. And the same with the low shape. By default, let's see, it's starting at about 20, the low shape on my insert here. So if I wanted to just boost the low and take away some of the highs, we could do that way, or vice versa. So there are many parameters to this, but they're very intuitive and easy to use. Let me zero these out here. I like what's going on. Let me adjust my mix just a little bit. And here's before. And here's after. Really cool. So that is on what would be considered my drum bus right now. Now I'm going to close this insert. Let's go on to a different instrument. Let's go to our bass guitar. All right, I'll increase this larger. And let's see, by default, here we go. Let's take a listen to the bass guitar bypass. I'll go to my chorus section. It's a nice bass guitar. It's got a little bit of a growl to it. It's performed well. Again, these tracks from Produce Like a Pro are outstanding. Definitely check them out. All right, let's bypass the plugin and let's have a little fun. I'm going to keep my auto gain on and my mix. Let's drive it a little more. There, I feel the warmthness and body still, but the growl is a little bit more present there. Now, if I wanted to add some more weight to the bass, remember that trick with the model, I could select dual. Okay, I like that. Now, what I'm hearing on my end is still a good balance of all the frequencies, but everything seems to be just a little bit more present, if you will. Let's bypass this and hear the bass originally. And here's with the tape plugin on with these settings we created. Now you notice my mix is only at 52. I have a balance between the wet and dry there. Let's bring the drums in and hear both of those instruments together. Okay, I'm going to bypass the tape plugin on the drums and bass. Ready? And here we go. That's bypassed, completely deactivated. Bring it back in. I like it. Now remember, a little does go a long way, and I'm being very mindful. I don't want to overdrive things too much. I don't want to introduce too much distortion. It is pop music. It should have energy, but not a lot of that fizzle up top that you can get when you're introducing distortion. Although this distortion is very musical and super pleasing. Speaking of that, let's open up our guitar track here. Let's bring in the tape plugin. There we go. And this is on our guitar track. All right, let's bypass it first and take a listen to what we're working with. Now, sometimes before you begin processing things and moving sliders around, it helps to have what I call an intention in mind. Well, if things sound great, do I need it? Well, a little does go a long way, and the guitars sound good. Perhaps they need a little bit more body, though. Let's see if we can do that. Let me bypass the plugin and let's listen to it. Okay, let's bypass it and AB our work. Here's without the tape plugin from Baby Audio. And here's with some preliminary settings I just made. I like it. It seems to be adding a little bit more weight in my left and right listening field. Let's bring in the drums and bass now. Oh, I like it. Things also sound a little bit more linear and, dare I say, glued together. All right, let's go on to our vocals. Let me deactivate, let me solo the vocals and so we can focus on that one, and I'll bring in the vocals now, right there. Okay, so here we have Tape on the vocals. This is an amazing singer, wonderful band. Again, producelikeapro.com, you won't regret it. Let's take a listen to the vocals from verse 1.
I do what I do, things that take away from you. You say I'm I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you. I'm living too many lives. All these worlds don't combine. There's always one left behind.
Oh, love it. So she's great. What more can I say? Let me bypass the plugin. Now, I was mentioned earlier to have intention in mind. I think we could probably add a little more body to this. Maybe work with the high shape and low shape a little bit. I'm going to put the model back on single, however, because I want to preserve some of her clarity there. I don't feel that using two tape machines to really embody the low end is necessary for her voice. But let's find out. Okay.
I do things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed.
Okay, here's bypassed.
I do things that take away from you.
And here's inserted.
I do things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you. I'm living too many lives. All these worlds don't combine. There's always one left behind.
Let's do that again. I'm tweaking some of the parameters here for us.
I do things that take away from you.
Okay, here's bypassed.
I do things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you.
Inserted.
I'm living too many lives. All these worlds don't combine. There's always one left behind.
Okay. Like I said, a little does go a long way. I'm going to take the mix down a hair. Not too much more glue in there. And let's hear everything. Okay.
I do things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you. I'm living too many lives. All these worlds don't combine. There's always one left behind.
Awesome. Oh, man. Plugins like this really get me excited. I think that Baby Audio is totally onto something. Yeah, really, I just wish, you know what, I'm starting to wish I had this years ago. Because typically you'd have to run some external inserts or some real hardware, warm your sound up, which I think is still great. But obviously with the advent of digital and having the AI, the way that they've designed this by actually being more intelligent with their with the plugin and by modeling more of the analog that's behind the analog, they're really giving you the whole kitchen sink. It's just a dynamite sounding plugin. Let's go to our master bus. I actually put it on here. Remember, we colored it white. Now I'm going to take my mix down, take my drive down to 0, and I'm going to start everything at default for this. I'm just holding Option or Alt on your keyboard, and I want to start at default with these settings, okay? Okay. I'm going to leave the auto gain off as well. Okay, everything's at default. Let's take a listen, and let's see if we could just maybe make this a little bit more posh if necessary.
I do things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you. I'm living too many lives. All these worlds don't combine. There's always one left behind. Just wrap the moon around me so with the moon I don't fade. With the moon I don't fade. Just wrap the moon around me so with the moon I don't fade. With the moon I don't fade.
Okay, here's bypassed.
I do things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you.
And here it is on our master bus as well.
I do things that take away from you. You say I'm drifting, but I'm screwed if I'm distant from you. I'm living too many lives. All these worlds don't combine. There's always one left behind.
There you go. So the best way always is to find out for yourself. Just visit Baby Audio and download a demo today. I know you won't be disappointed. Like I said, I wanted to take some time to really work with this plugin before I made this video, and my feelings didn't change. In fact, I have more love for this after just a few weeks of using it than ever. Little does go a long way. I just love what they've done with this, and the parameters are easy to use. It's super intuitive, not to mention it looks really, really cool. My name's Carlo Libertini, and thank you for watching. Stay busy and stay creative, everyone, and have a great day.